So I thought I'd do a quick 1cc guide for Pulstar, showing how the routing that I used to clear this works. And it's pretty safe for most part of it. There are a def in stage 8, so this will actually show some recovery against stage 8 and the boss as well. But in general, this route should be pretty safe unless you mess up like I did here. And first stage is more of a tutorial stage, so you don't need to care too much about what you're doing. Just pick up all the weapon power-ups and as many speed-ups as you feel comfortable with. I like to stay at 2 speed in the beginning of the game, but I usually speed up more later on, so if you prefer going with more speed than 2, then that's fine. So I won't really, I don't know if I need to go too deep into the system here, because I mean if you're going for a 1cc then you need to learn that anyways. But you can see me having this small front shield here, which you get when you get one weapon power up. And if you get a second one, then you have like the max shield size. You're gonna get that here. And that blocks bullets from the front of you, so any bullets that are not lasers typically will be blocked by this. Which means that you can tank a lot of hits just coming from the front of you, and mainly need to care about stuff coming from other directions. There's probably some exceptions that's not lasers as well, but in general that's the way it works. So you can see me just flying around here and picking up everything, and it's, yeah, I mean this is like a tutorial stage, so it's not too bad. This C thing here speeds up your charge time, which is very important. So one thing about this is that as you're powering up the front shield and you will eventually get top and bottom options as well, and then also the charge time and the weapons. That means that whenever you die you can drop all of that, so it's pretty important to not die in this game, because recovery is real rough. As mentioned, I do actually end up dying later in stage 8 in this, so it is possible to recover, it's just very hard. So it's much better if you can try to no miss basically the entire game. So like most 1cc runs you see of this is going to be no miss. Still not too much to say about the particulars about this stage or anything, like just pick everything up and here's the boss. You want to try and kill bosses as quickly as possible, because otherwise they're gonna throw kind of random patterns at you. But for the first one, you only really need to worry about first killing this thing. It shoots out in front of it, which is pretty quick. You can do that with a few short shots, and then just shoot it down the middle while avoiding this center laser. Like a blue thick laser in the middle is the main thing that might get you, because it comes out like somewhat quickly. But the boss doesn't have that much HP, so you don't need to do much routing or anything. It's fine, just shoot it a few times and now it's dead. And that's the first stage. So I think that we've had all the weapons except for, well, that's not true, we haven't had the R1 either, but so one weapon we haven't had yet is the force field, which we're gonna get here. I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but it's what it looks like. So if I get that here, then mashing will give you this field which kills enemies around you, and this is surprisingly strong. Like I like this one quite a lot, and I do recommend playing this with auto fire, because otherwise you'll be mashing quite hard to get this out here. But at this point enemies can't hurt you, so you only really need to care about bullets and these very big enemies which has more HP. It's pretty good to just try and be somewhat aggressive and stay towards the right of the screen and anticipate some enemies. Like those things there, they shoot a laser which will go through the force field if you don't kill them quickly, and there's some more coming right there now. So you'll see me like trying to get those down quickly. But the laser that they shoot is quite slow, so even if you don't, then it's fine, just dodge that by on reaction really. You can see me just like taking down these enemies here with the force field. There's really not too much to worry about. Over here there's a power-up carrier that you want to avoid picking up, because you want to stay on this weapon all the way to the boss. You can see me kind of anticipating these enemies here as well, which shoots a laser if you don't kill them quickly. So in this section, I usually want to stay on the right side of the screen, and then you can just sit there and do nothing. As long as you sit kind of at the water level thing here, like the edge of the water and the top area, then it's fine. There's some turrets here that I try to move down and just get kind of quickly. But other than that, yeah, there's not really anything that can hurt you here. Move back a little bit to try to get some points up these, but it's not important. And you can see these kind of splashes from the roof here, and they are also sometimes from the floor. So those will move down and try to get you, but they are very slow, so it's fine to just, you don't need to route them really, you can just back out a little bit on reaction. Here though, it is important to not try to damage the top one here too early, because then you can go above it. When you damage it with force field, it kind of stops. So as long as you get above it, then you can just take down this worm like that, and then this section is not too bad either. You can see me kind of going to the top right here. So once that worm is dead, just move to the top right, and then you don't need to care about the other ones either. So that's like a very quick way to trivialize that section. And most of this run is me trying to play as safely as possible. Like I want to get the clear, and the entire game is 40-ish minutes if you want to do all stages, so I don't want to have any unnecessary deaths on the first few stages, so I just play them extremely safely. You can see at the bottom here that there's an enemy coming up. Yeah, I mean those are really slow, so unless you kind of are moving along the floor, then those are safe to dodge. And now the boss is coming up, so I think this is the first time that I will use the bomb. Bombing is pressing B when you have a red bar from auto-fire filled up. But I'm gonna start by point blanking the hand of the boss, so that the phase 1 is just me dodging all bullets by blocking them with the shield while damaging it with the force field and the front shield. And then I immediately bomb the body and it just dies right away. So that's a very safe speed kill. The drawback of this is that you're going into stage 3 without any weapon power-ups, which is a little bit tricky, and it does need some additional routing, but I still find this safer than trying to take down stage 2 boss normally, like I sometimes mess that up. So here there's a few things to care about. These ones are not too bad, but these things coming from the back here, if you do not kill them, they will shoot bullets at you from behind as well. So you need to just be careful that any of those that you let through, they will still shoot at you. So you need to kind of navigate those slow yellow bullets. And after this section, I will bomb the next one. So there's going to be enemies from both sides, and I bomb this part because that's a very easy place to mess up. So it's best to just drop your weapons there and bomb. And for this I will charge my main shot, and do a charge shot on this dragon here, and then one more, and then a third one, and it's dead. So after you've done the bomb part with enemies from both sides, immediately start charging your shot, and then just take down the dragon like that. And the rest is not too bad really, like you can do some sharp shots on these enemies and then just auto-fire down the rest, and then watch out for bullets from behind, and it's fine. I'm gonna pick up all the weapon power-ups now, and there's a boss coming here, so I start by just taking it down from the front here, and it will go down very quickly. And then I will shoot this top area here, so just go up there and do some short shots, and that one goes down as well. And next there's gonna be a power-up carrier and then some lasers. So yeah, you have to wait a little bit, but don't get the power-up here or the speed up. Unless you want more speed, I guess, but just try to stay below the lasers and do short shots on these body parts. Nothing at this point is particularly hard in this stage. You can just stay here and then just shoot these. And that eye there is going to be your second option. It's going to cover the bottom as well, so now you are kind of safe from bullets in many directions. For the top stuff here, like you do have the ability to move your top and bottom options by your movements. If you want to, you can just take those down by repositioning your options. I think in practice it's not too bad. Like this section, I don't think I've ever really died here. You can just take it slow and then kill the top turrets and this ship, and it's, yeah, there's not much difficulty in this particular place. Which is one of the things that I don't really like about Pulstar. There's like this, in the first few stages, there's a lot of really slow sections where not much happens. So you, to get to the later parts, which is more actiony, then you need to just sit through all of this as well, but at least the sprites are kind of nice looking. Here, just stay towards the top of the boss here. You won't really get squeezed, and then just wait until it goes down soon, and then move down with it, and yeah, that's it. So now we're at the front of the boss, and we're gonna go back under it. And first we're gonna get the... we're still only at 1 power-up, so the shield is still kind of small. So now we get the second one, and we're back to a full-size power again. And we're gonna point the options back, and then shoot the boss like this. And this is a kind of slow section. There's a lot of slowdown. I think that this weapon maybe spawns a little bit more slowdown than some other ones as well. With the, I'm not sure if it's like the computations for the locking and the or the aiming or what it is, but it's yeah. I just stay in front of the boss here for a while, and can get some shots in on it like this, where I kind of reposition my options. But in practice, it's only really, yeah, just stay here and wait, essentially. It's not that exciting. But now on the part here, you see that the boss is kind of flying to the top left corner, which signals that it's going to move forward. So I'm going to stay down here below it and just try to clear out some bullets with my options. And just position myself in front of this big, I don't know what that is, like some bone thing. And maybe get some shots in with my options at this part behind there, but it's also not too bad. So I just sit here and do some shooting and wait until this wall comes up, and then I will move behind it. And if this skeleton thing wasn't dead already, I would just do a short shot there and it will go down as well. So that's why you don't need to worry too much about damaging it with options. Here I charge my main shot. I think I mess up a little bit here, which means I will not get like the super speed kill, but it's fine to mess up here as well. So stay in front and block some bullets, and then you're supposed to shoot the main shot right in the eye there, but I actually miss because I'm kind of bad. And then do it again there. And then move on top of it and repeat. So you sit in front of it, do the same thing again, and if you had actually hit the first shot like I did here, then the boss will go down before it even does the transitioning to the next phase. But you will see here that even if it does transition to the phase, I can charge shot it a few more times and it goes down. So the yeah, there's not really any way to die on that boss. I think it's very easy. Stage 4, still not too bad. I think stage 3 is probably harder, at least in the beginning. So you want to kind of memorize the spinning things coming from the front there, and also these ones. They are a little bit tricky because those like round shots that these ones shoot, they are not blockable by the front shield or options, so just be kind of careful there and not get hit by those, so it's not too bad. The ceiling turrets are not too bad either, because you can just fly up and get them with your front shield if you want to. So there's, I don't think there's much to worry about here either. Yeah, pick up that P thing here to get the lasers. Not sure if that's better than placing here, but it's fine. Then I get the charge thing. This section, not too much to say either. I don't think I care too much about spacing here. Maybe don't get hit from behind by these lasers and just shoot them with your options. And now this is similar to stage 3 boss, where you want to be in front and then like try to reposition your options a little bit to get the lasers on top. You could also just go up there and shoot them with your main shot, but I think it's safer to do it with options like this. So yeah, I'm gonna stay kind of far in the front of the screen here and then just try to take down basically as much as I can with my option shot. There's not really anything particularly threatening as long as I stay away from the lasers and the enemies. So I can just take things kind of slowly here. And see, yeah, I do actually get that with the option as well. So you can just sit here and then wait for the boss to run into your bullets, essentially. These turrets here, they feel like they have a little bit more. No, maybe they don't have more HP, I don't know. But sometimes don't kill all of those. That was the first half of stage 4, which is kind of easy. But I guess the second part, it is tricky if you don't have the routing down. Like if you go into late stage 4 and you don't know where you're gonna want to go in the kind of maze later on, that will be a problem. But as long as you're aware of what you're doing, it should be fine. Maybe I'm messing things up here with stage 5, we'll see. No, yeah. So here, either you can just use the lasers, or you can get the end power up. But I kind of like having the lasers here. It doesn't make that much of a difference really, but just wait at these small enemies down here until you get all of those. Like when they stop spawning, then block the bullets, go up and shoot these turrets, and then move forward to the right side of the screen. And then here do a short shot like this. And then the laser will kill the thing from behind you. Like that's one of the benefits of having laser here. And those enemies from the top there can kind of get you. But I try to just kill a few of them and then speed kill the 2 big enemies here, so that I have lots of room in this section. And then I can just sit here and kill all the enemies. So maybe the laser is actually better here than the other weapon. I've had some success with both, but I think that the laser is probably safer. And so here's the boss coming up. The first section is this is just like a fancy graphics thing. Like you don't need to dodge anything here. This thing does not hit you. So yeah, you can see it just passes you through here. Like this is just a very long intro to the main boss. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be charging my main shot, and then essentially try to point blank the next phase when it spawns. So you will see it's kind of spawning me crab here, and I will just stay kind of close to it and then do a bunch of short shots. And then once I've gotten a few in, I will move back and try to stay at the center of the screen. And then when it does these shots, then I move forward, and if it does the lasers, I move down. And if you're lucky, then it will not spawn those blue balls. But it's good to practice those anyways. So it sort of depends on how good you get the speed kill here. But this actually kind of showed how to dodge all the patterns. Like those are all the stuff you need to worry about with this boss. If it does the spread shot from top and bottom, then move forward, and if it does the laser, then move down, and that's it. In this one, this is kind of where the difficulty picks up a little bit. These like insect enemies shooting lasers that aren't blocked by the shield. You want to get those ideally pretty quickly, and you can just get them with a short shot. They will go down. I will switch weapons soon, I think, to the end weapon. These ones, if you have the laser, you can just pick them up diagonally like this. That's pretty nice. And here I'm going to switch weapon type to the end one, because I think that makes this section a little bit easier. I was actually pretty close there to getting hit by a laser from one of the insects, which is weird. Typically I try to stay away from them and get them with short shots from the back of the screen, but I was a bit aggressive there. This section will go down. I think you're already at max charge here, but you can start charge shot the worm coming up there, and if you don't get it immediately, just get it when it comes back. And when you are almost killing all of those enemies, then move to the top of the screen like this, and tap, hold up while tapping left, so you're going to stay close to this box from here, and that's safe. And then just move down and shoot this rock. And you will have plenty of space to clear that out. And charge up for the big worm from here, so try to get that when it comes down. And then there's going to be some more butterflies, and well, I'm not sure if that is butterflies, but it's like some sort of insect. Yeah, just take those down. And you will, as long as you focus on those, then you have plenty of time to take out other enemies as well. section coming up here is... Well, first there's a section with a few of these insects, which you can charge up down. I do that kind of poorly here, but if you remember the placement, it's easy. And then here, only focus on the bottom worm, really. Like the top one, don't care too much about that. Just shoot the bottom worm. And then the top one will just ignore you. These spinning enemies, if those survive, then they can shoot sort of surprising bullets from you from those green areas, which is fun. So here's a maze coming up. I just stay towards the back of the screen here, and then I'm going to move down first, which I think is safest. So I just move down here, and then you can move forward and get these other enemies. And then on the next section you want to be a little bit fast, and then go down again. Otherwise you will get blocked by those enemies coming on the left there. So I stay on the down on both of the first ones, and then on the next one I'm going to go upwards instead. I take out some enemies, and then I kill the top enemy here, and then I move into that one's position. And then I just chill here at the back of the screen and do not pick up that laser weapon there. So I just kind of stay here, and then I'm gonna try and move to the top side here once most enemies are gone. And here just mash, hug the left side of the screen and don't move at all vertically, because then the water will push you down perfectly and you will not die. Here, yeah, just do some short shots and it's gonna be fine. The section before that has some enemies that can shoot you from behind if you're not too careful, but it's usually not too bad. So I fix my options forward here, and then I try to stay very close to the boss, which means I can get a very fast speed kill on it. So I just stay right next to it, and then I do a bunch of short shots, and it's gonna go down very quickly. And so I don't move at all during this boss fight. When it does two of these waves, is the second one coming here, after that one it's gonna do this green shot, so then I can move back a little bit if I want to. Because if I don't get the speed kill, then those green ones will get me unless I move backwards. But I've gotten pretty good at speed killing this boss. So in practice I shouldn't have to move at all. I can just stay there and short shots. Stage 6 is much harder than stage 5. This is the second hardest stage in the game, I think. And I do stay on this weapon for quite a bit of time. Until I get, well, I can stay for it for most of the stage really. These ones you cannot damage them, so you just try to navigate below them and it's fine. These kind of beholder-like enemies. This one is not too bad, you can just shoot it, but the later ones is going to be really tricky. This section, I find the safest way to do this is just to hug the left side of the screen and then do short shots for these green ones. And then when it's reasonably close to the exit, then I do one final short shot or something, and then I move in here. And then as long as you go down, then the bullets will not hit you. But if you do it too early, then sometimes bullets can sneak in and get you, which is really annoying. And here I will try to get the top one with short shots while also killing the beholder to the right. So that I can get rid of this top one, like that. And now is the hardest part of stage 6. So there's going to be some really big enemies here, and I will try to get some short shots in on those, and then I will actually bomb, because I will immediately be able to get that R there and then this N here, which brings me back to full power again. So the bombing there is safe and it's fine to just recover. And here I will line up short shots for that big enemy, and then that's about it. There's one more beholder here which I will try to kill, but now I will just try to do very minimal movements so that I will not accidentally run into things, and just block as much as I can with my front shield. So that part it looked very easy in this run, but it is surprisingly hard, so I recommend bombing the first section and then center the short shots on the enemies coming from the top as much as possible. Yeah, and just go above that spider there, that's really easy. Below this one. So on the section here, there are these things on the floor, you can see me activating there, which will explode and damage you if you go near them. So I try to kind of provoke them and get them to explode so that I don't have to worry about them that much. As long as you're aware of it, it's not too bad. Because these enemies here are they will shoot parts of themselves at you, but since you have this bottom option, that will mostly just block that, which means it's not too bad. And you can see here, like I'm gonna go forward and provoke that floor explosion, because otherwise if you are not aware of that one there, then it's pretty easy for that one to get you. But as long as you're aware of it, then it's fine. The boss has a very obvious safe spot, so you can just try to line up your shield, your ship, right below the 1-up markers like this. And it's not pixel perfect or anything. As long as you're vaguely in the right spot, it's gonna be completely safe. So you can just sit here and then fire short shots at it. And I never die on this boss. It's impossible to die on this boss if you know what you're doing. If you have the max power like this, and you just have sort of the right position, then there's no way to die here. So that's a little bit silly. But I think in general, like, one of the weird things with this game is that the bosses are quite easy, except for, well, I guess the last one is a little bit trickier than the other ones. But most of the bosses can either be speed killed or they have like some sort of safe spot like this. So the main difficulty is going to be in the stages. I don't really like that too much. Like, I think this is a little bit silly. The slowdown is a bit silly as well. But yeah, so just sit there and then the boss dies and that's it. And then the next stage is going to be a lot easier. So on this one we have the N weapon the entire time. But on the next stage I'm gonna have, as soon as I can pick up the force field, I'm gonna get that, and then I'm gonna try to keep that until the final boss again. So here, there's some enemies, I like short shot those ones, and then I auto fire them down, and that's not too bad. There's like some sucker here, don't need to care about those too much either. On the next section though, here I will short shot the bottom ones typically, but it's like if you stay in the center of the screen, it's safe. In the section here I go below the comet, and then I don't really care if I pick up that weapon or not. It's fine to get it, it's fine to not get it, but once I've killed those big enemies, I line up with the nebula or something like there, and then I go to the right of the screen, in the middle, like in the dead center. And after this section I position the options like this and lock them. And I do that here because it's a very safe place to do it, but it's not really until the end of the stage where it's important that I have this. So I get the force field, and then I move slowly backwards to drain the bullets of those enemies, and these ones I just get from the front instead. So that you want to cancel out those pink bullets. I think the first wave there is the one that's more tricky, but just move backwards and it's fine. And here, since I have this positioning of the options, I will just like shoot these turrets, but there are some other turrets later on that are much more complicated, which is why I have this positioning of the options. So with the force field here, nothing can hurt you really. Stay in the center of the screen, and then, I mean, this one you can shoot down, but I think even the force field will take care of that. And there's gonna come these enemies that shoot like lightning or something, which you can take down if you want to with a force field. But otherwise, just try to stay centered and not where the blue enemies spawn, and it's gonna be fine. And here I take out these big enemies as well. I think that, I mean, it gives a little bit of points, but it's not too important. You can see me just trying to stay in the center every time. Here, don't pick up that eye, because that will reset the options. And then you can see this is where I want to have the options move like this. Like, it helps me shoot these turrets. That way I can move slowly along the left side of the screen. And there's a boss coming here. I will damage it with force field as much as possible, because if you don't get damage in while it's moving, then this will not speed kill. So I get it while it's spinning around, and then I set myself in front of it, damaging it with force field and the front shield, and that just kills it right away. And that section before the boss there is actually where I die most. And now their final stage. This is a big step up in difficulty. This thing shooting blue orbs there in the beginning, I try to get that quite quickly, because if I don't, then sometimes that blue orb will get me, which is annoying. And these squids spawning from the ground, there's like a general rule here that for They will never spawn more than 3 from a hole, so if you're kind of anticipating 3 of them, then that's going to be mostly fine. And these pink kind of bushes or whatever that throws worms at you, if you have the force field, then you don't need to care about those at all, so you can only focus on the other things. In this section, I'm gonna stay right to the left of the spawner of these worm things, like here. And this position is quite safe, so I can wait until all of them have spawned, and then I can move down a little bit like this, and then I can kind of keep hugging the left of the screen for the next section. And that one is quite safe. So you're gonna see me kind of staying on the left side of the screen, just eating bullets with the front shield and shooting things and taking it very slow here. And yeah, in this particular place there's not too much to worry about. These ones, they will just trigger a lot of slowdown, but yeah, don't pick up any other weapons, just stay on force field. Force field is really good. And that was the first part of the stage. So now there's the tricky part remaining. There's like most of the stage is still left. Here, watch out for those squids spawning up there. There's only one at this particular place, but for some of the other ones there's more. And these worms kind of sticking their head out here, they are, as long as you stay near the head, it's not too bad. Here, stay on the top, because there's going to be a squid more from the bottom here. So just wait for that one, kill that, and then stay to the left side to get the last one. And here you can see there's a hole on the top of the screen, so there's going to be another squid, so I'm just waiting for that, and getting that. And then moving forward to kind of be in the positioning of the head of the worm. Here I move to the bottom left to both get the squids with the force field and those orb shooting things, like I try to short shot those ideally. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of positioning going on here. Here we're going to be in the center of the screen. So this is kind of why this level is complicated, that there's a lot of positions you want to move between, and if you mess that up it's very easy to get hit by something. And like so far I'm executing this route really well, but I will mess up soon, which is going to show the recovery, and that one is, that's really rough. So you can see me kind of staying towards the center of the screen to make sure I have some space for those squid things. Here I move forward, get the right worm, the left one is not important. And now when this section starts, I hug the left of the screen and then I eat some bullets from the ships here, and then I try to move upwards and then forwards. And this is one place where it's easy to get hit, like I did there. So I moved backwards again there, which I should not have done. I should have kept moving forward, and then I would be safe. So now I'm stuck in a really awkward place where I do have a bunch of extents, but I have like no power-ups, so typically I would just give up here. But I think like I'm gonna try and recover anyways, and the first attempt is really failing. Like I haven't really practiced recovery here. But my main goal at this point, since I'm so close to the boss, like I died very closely to the boss spawn, is to just get to the boss, because I think that the last boss is not too hard, so I could probably get it if I just can survive all the way there. And as you can see on the first attempt, like this is going really poorly. Like this section without any power-ups is very hard. So I'm gonna try and be aggressive and then move towards the right side of the screen as much as possible, to like leave some space for some enemies. Well, actually I don't do that here. Okay, then I misremember. Well, that's where I died probably. So I'm just still dying here, and I think I need to be more forward facing and like more aggressive on the right side of the screen. So so far this recovery has gone really poorly, which is kind of expected because it's very hard. Recovering in stage 8 is it's a mess really. But you can see me now, I'm kind of moved forward so that I'm very far to the right of the screen here, and I'm mindful of these enemies shooting angled bullets, but I still get hit by them. So at this point things are not looking very good. But on this life, things actually go quite a bit better. So I have a basic idea of what I want to do. I get the initial power up, and then I move to the right side of the screen here, like I did last time. Like that was pretty safe. Now there's some very fine navigation for these like these pink ones, which normally is not a problem when you have force field. Like in my normal routing I can just ignore those. Here I need to be careful with those to make sure I don't get hit. And these bottom enemies from the left here, I got kind of lucky there, but ideally you want to be behind this top left wall there so that they cannot hit you. But I instead just kind of reaction navigated that and somehow survived, so that was pretty good. And at this point I am quite happy, because when I get here and I see that R power up, that means that I'm now in this section at the final boss. And since I'm at max power going in, that means that I can bomb this one, and since the boss spawns 2 power-ups, I will actually have 2 bombs, which means that I can do my regular routing. Or so I would think. There's some issues though, which will become obvious when I die later on. But on the boss here, I think it's safest if you have 2 bombs, immediately bomb stage 1. There are ways to kind of point blank it and do it without bomb, but I like to just bomb this, because otherwise you can mess it up. And then pick up these 2 power-ups, so you have another bomb. And the next phase is the hardest one, so I will just bomb that right away as well. So I speed kill the first 2 phases, and this is the way I would do it if I had full power as well. So this is my typical boss route, and I think I'm gonna start executing that. But here I do mess up, because when I normally get here, I have much more charge power up, and I have both the top and bottom option. So I kind of forget about that here, and that means that I will end up in positions where I have to move, where I wouldn't have to move if I had the top and bottom option to block out enemies. And at this point, if I were at my top power level, I would already have killed the boss now. This is where the boss is normally dead, and then I just get very confused, and even though this is not too hard to dodge, then I will get hit by something here. So that was just me not anticipating this pattern going on for longer. And that was a bit awkward, so now I will have to get the boss done without having the initial bomb going on. I only have 1 bomb at the boss in my last life, so that's a little bit tricky. So then I will just have to do the first pattern the proper way. So this shows, I think this is actually the same way that people who just kill the boss multiple times due to checkpoint milking does it. You stay at the left, and then when these blue things comes down, then you shoot the worm, and then yeah, you just repeat that. And it's not that hard. But I still sometimes mess it up, so that's why I bomb phase 1 normally. But in this case it went well. And phase 2, still I think that the correct move here is to bomb that, because stage 3 is much easier to dodge than stage 2. So I bomb stage 2, and then move into stage 3. And now I just, yeah, I'm a little bit worried here, because it didn't go so well last time. And I'm on my last life as well. But now I'm a little bit more mindful about the top enemies, so I try to avoid charging as much and use more auto-fire, because auto-fire has it will attack enemies to the top and bottom as well. So when I see these enemies spawn, then I just make sure to stay in auto-fire mode instead of charging, and this is gonna make the boss fight take a lot longer, but it's also a lot safer. So it's yeah, I don't really practice this part of the boss fight, because normally the boss will already be dead. But the only real problem is when it starts spawning these yellow lasers as well here. That pattern is a little bit tricky to dodge, but it's still actually not too hard. So it worked out in this case. If you are going for a 1cc, then if you can get here with no miss, that's obviously a lot nicer, because in that case you don't need to worry about doing that for that many phases. But in this case it worked out, so I'm happy. I don't have to play this anymore. It's a kind of it's not really my type of game. It's very heavy on memorization, and it is hard to recover. I thought it was basically impossible to recover in stage 8, but I somehow managed to do it, so that was good. But the sprite work is really nice, and I mean, it does have some stuff going for it, but it's not really my type of game, I think. I could see why some people like it though. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. I don't really know what else to say. That worked out, and I was very surprised I managed to clear that credit due to my death in stage 1. Sorry, stage 8. Thanks.